Hi, today I'll be talking to you about mental health treatments. So I remember my first mental health treatment was when I was 8 years old and I went to my first psychiatrist. I was terrified because I was like, you want me to be in a room with an old man and talk about my feelings? Wow. So at first I wasn't as enthusiastic because I was 8 years old and I was like, I don't know what's going on, right? So as time went on, I eventually opened up and trusted him, and I still go to him now, and I love it so much. It helps a lot. Now, psychiatrists weren't always an option. In the older times, there was something called electroshock therapy, and it was something that they would use in asylums where families would place their family members that had mental illnesses to hide them ultimately from the world because they were a disgrace. Now, as time went on, obviously we evolved from that, and obviously we developed more medication and more technology that helps us. But mental illnesses has always been a thing, so I was curious. If we have technology now, and we had technology then, what did they do to the people that was before technology and before computers and before we ever even found electricity? So I found one of the first cases of mental health illness treatments was called trephination, and this dates back to the caveman period. And trephination is where they drill holes into your head to relieve pressure from your parietal lobes and or relieve the demon's possession that you had mentally. So obviously it doesn't sound too fantastic and didn't always work. So that was to help with schizophrenia and autism and dementia. And then moving to the medieval period, they had insane asylums in isolation, where they would have electroshock therapy, and they had some drug called Thorazine to calm the patients down if they were having an episode or they were being very aggressive. They would drug them with Thorazine to ultimately put them to rest. Now, families would put their family members in these insane asylums, mostly not to be treated because back in the day there was never really a treatment for them. They would ultimately just put them there to hide them away from everyone and everything because they were disgraced. Now, another mental illness that dates back to the medieval times was hysteria, and that was something that was a majority women mental illness. And with this, they would sexually abuse women, and they would burn them at a stake because they believed that it was due to witches and dark magic and demonic possession. And they also, in the 1940s, actually, they had a treatment called lobotomy, which was a 5-minute procedure that would disrupt the circuits in your brain from your frontal lobe and your parietal lobes. And it was to help with your mental state. And obviously it's not a thing anymore because it didn't really work as good as people thought it would be. But it did win a Nobel Peace Prize in the late 40s, early 50s. But once the mid 1950s came around, we developed psychotherapy, and we found hospitalizations and medication and all these different treatments that we could use instead of using isolations and asylums and burning people at stake and lobotomy. So now we have things like psychiatrists and case managers and medication that helps balance the hormones and all the brain activity. Now a case manager is somebody who works alongside your psychiatrist, and your case manager is only for you. Your case manager is based on how you view the world, basically. They're there to help you in any way they possibly can to make you feel as comfortable in any situation as possible. So they work alongside your psychiatrist, and they use the studies that they get from the hospital, and they use your sessions, and they use your thoughts and your voice to help you live the best life you possibly can. Now, as we come more into the later years, in 2017, there was approximately 11.2 million adults aged 18 or older in the United States that was diagnosed with a serious mental illness. So if you think about it, everywhere you look, you might never know if there was somebody there that's suffering from a mental illness. So just think about it next time. Be nice.